I didn't want to go the whole hog, as was the case before the election of 4GS. That was wrong, it really was, and it wouldn't have worked in my opinion. So we're looking at perhaps contracting out on one or two things, perhaps letting one county or the other, one police force or the other take the lead.
Commissioner Bright, earlier you criticised G4S, and for good reason criticised G4S, but you also said you were thinking of contracting out one or two things. What's in your mind? What are particulars in your mind?
Nothing is the answer, because we are looking at the whole thing at the moment. Some things in terms of back office, if you look at payroll, it's a no-brainer because there's so many good packages out there run by the private sector that you can't compete with them. In fact, we already use them. So, that's just one I'm suggesting. We're going to look at this certainly within the 3 counties. So in other words, we've got to get Bedfordshire, Hertfordshire and ourselves connected, because it makes it a big enough deal to go for it. I'm hopeful that in a number of these we can have a lead authority that is good enough to take it on and lead for the other 2. Now, we're very lucky in Cambridgeshire. We've got a Chief Constable who's got a lot of ideas on the IT side. We've got Microsoft sitting amongst us who are being very helpful. And there is no reason why perhaps Cambridgeshire can lead on IT and save money for the other 2 and ourselves in one go, and maybe bring another partner in as well. Some of the things we've got in mind for IT, for instance, is not reinventing the wheel, but by using software that everyone uses, i.e. Microsoft software, and getting the policemen, and we're having a trial starting on this, I think in 2 or 3 weeks' time, having a handheld, and not necessarily a tablet. You can now get it down to the small phones, so that they can actually put their reports straight in to the computer without having to go back and write it up and then someone type it in. It'll go straight in. But more importantly, they get information out, so that if they arrest someone and they put their name and address in, it can immediately flash up that this guy's been in trouble several times before. Or if it's a motorist, to know instantly it's not insured. This saves an awful lot of groundwork, and the Chief Constable is quite convinced that it's going to lead to us being able to release a lot of our policemen back out into the community rather than spending all their time in administration. Now, that is going to save us a lot, and we may well be able to show Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire how it's going to save them money, and that then will lower our costs as well. So, there's lots of ways of doing this. You don't just have to put it all out. You can very often solve it yourself. But there may be some issues where we need to look at some of the providers outside. And what I'm saying to you is I'm not afraid to do that. But what I can tell you is that the G4S, it was an impractical solution. It would not have worked, and it would have cost us money. And when I brought my deputy in, I brought him in particularly for his skills of management, and that's what he's sort of spending a lot of his time on. He looked at it and came to the same conclusion. And then when we got the 3 of us, the 3 counties together, we did have a report which proved very much our worst fears, that we were going to go into a pile of trouble if we didn't watch out. So the best thing to do was stop, come out of it, look again, which is what we're doing now. So I can't tell you what or how, because we're moving down that path, but I have to tell you we've got to move quickly because we've got 7.5 million to save.